What's up, everybody? So, it is our regular Thursday, or it's becoming regular at least, um, video update, fifth scale, whatever you want to call it. Talking a little bit about how this thing's running. I think I've finally got this thing dialed in. The past, I'd say, week or so, I've been waiting on parts and whatnot, and a few things that I've got in. Got everything lined out on shocks and whatnot. Yeah, sorry, it's dirty as all get out. Ran it pretty hard last night. Everything seems to be working great. Everything's seems to be lined out pretty well. So, that being said, let me talk a little bit about what got it to this point. So, probably remember the last video I talked about, sheared off some drive pins from the front diff, and then ended up shearing off a drive pin for the rear diff. Well, got all those in. Ordered in these here. These are from Fastlane Machine. They're hardened steel. A lifetime warranty on them against bendage, breakage, all of that good stuff. Plus, they have replaceable pins that you can purchase. They're serviced by a set screw that you need to make sure that you lock tight well. Let's see if I can get that in focus here. Maybe. Let's do that. How about that? There we go. So you got a set screw there. You also have a set screw right there that you can service that pin with. These run $18-19 a pop from Dave's Discount Motors. Thanks to those guys for carrying everything I need. And they work great. Being the impatient person that I am, or the patient person that I am, which is really an impatient person, I didn't quite let the set screw fully set, the Loctite on the set screw set, and I took it out, immediately lost a pin. Luckily I had bought replacement pins for everything, and I was able to put a brand new one in and continue running. Now, the difference between the pin set that you can buy from Losi themselves and Fastlane Machine is that on the pins from Fastlane Machine, they've actually got a little bit of a notch cut in them. It's just a little bit. It's a good flat spot for this set screw to press down on, to lock it into place. It also centers this pin in the dog bone itself, so you don't have to worry about, well, do I have it too far one way or the other. That notch pretty much takes care of that for you. These pins are just some that I had purchased from Losi Racing, and they do not have the notch machined into them, but they still work fine. The set screw presses against them just fine, and they work. In fact, I lost one last night in the front dog bone. I don't think the set screw is fully pressed down or whatever, so I ended up losing one, and I put one of these in, and it works perfect. A little trick to this: make sure you get a set of pliers. Just grip it here, get your Allen wrench, tighten it down that way. Make sure you got some blue Loctite on it. Let it cure for a full 24 hours before you start doing something funky, like driving it. That's pretty bad idea. So these are in. I've got, in fact, this back one is a factory one that I pulled out. This is the one I'm going to replace it with. I just haven't got around to doing it. But, you know, I haven't sheared off a pin back here yet. It seems to be working okay. Shocks lined out, no leaks. I know it looks like it's a little dirty here, but I think that's just because of me wiping the excess silicone fluid when I was filling them up. They collected a little bit of dirt around there, but there's no leakage at all. Let me think what else. New spark plug in the OBR G340 RC. This is the reed case, not piston port. Reed case is a monster. So, I'm not saying the piston port isn't. I'm just saying this reed case is a brute. Has absolutely no problem getting this damn near 50-pound vehicle up and running. So, had one experience last night. Had a little bit of a vapor lock in the fuel system, which was kind of bizarre. Couldn't prime it, couldn't start it. So eventually got it to where the fuel system, all the air bubbles and whatnot worked out, and was able to get it started again. The thing I love about these OBRs, if you take care of them, maintenance them right, they literally start on the second pull. This one did. I primed it 10 times, just enough to make sure there's pressure in the fuel system. Gave it one slow pull, and on the second slow pull, it fired right up. I'm not kidding. It works that well. Make sure you have a good plug, though. The NGKs that you can buy from Dave's Motors, those are the ones that come with the OBR. Replace them with those. Let's see, what else? Whatever. Again, I went with a diff kit in the back instead of the solid spool. It turns so much better with the diff kit in the back. Went with the MIP diff kit, racing kit. I highly recommend those. They're like $15. They're not expensive, but man, they make your diff incredibly smooth. And if you've got a clone like I do, it's more a Losi now than it is a clone, just because of all the parts I put on it. But that being said, replace the gears in this thing with the real Losi gears. They don't cost that much, and you're gonna benefit from how smooth everything operates now. It's ridiculous how much difference there is. I wouldn't have thought there would be, but there is. Let's see, what else? Let's focus in here. Front shocks are good. Of course. Oh, that's something else. So, everybody knows that anybody that owns a Losi style chassis knows that you got two different lengths of shock springs, right? Well, one thing I figured out about this is that either these shock springs came from the factory, put on wrong, or somewhere along the way I got them mixed up. Because when I was doing maintenance on the shocks, I noticed that the spring that I originally pulled off of this seemed a little long. And I thought, nah, it can't be. So sure enough, I pulled off the spring of this one, and it was much shorter than this one. Yeah, they were flip-flopped. So, they weren't flip-flopped on this side. I don't know if they came from the factory that way, which wouldn't surprise me. Being that it is a clone, my guess is the quality control sometimes probably isn't the greatest. But anyway, so I fixed that, and looks like time's running out. I'll continue in a second.